morning, sir. Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon.
Good morning.
Good afternoon, sir.
Which one is better?
Good afternoon, sir.
Better, or as per time you have to say good afternoon?
As per time, it is good afternoon.
You can start. You can start. Okay. You belong to the state of Andhra Pradesh.
Yes, sir.
Recently, there is an issue with regard to one stage play, the state of Andhra Pradesh. Did you follow it?
Sir, is it about the? I'm not able to recall the name, sir.
Okay, let me ask you a generic question, that being the case.
It comes.
Chintamani, it's about Chintamani.
Chintamani, yes.
Yeah, be that as it may. So let me ask you a generic question.
Yes, sir.
What is the statutory authority which is empowered to screen a stage play? A statutory authority which is empowered to screen a stage play. You know the distinction between a stage play and a movie? Which is a statutory authority to screen a movie?
Sir, CBS, Central Board for
Film Certification.
Yes, sir.
It's a statutory authority under which act?
Sir,
Which statute has appointed this particular body? Or it derives far from which statute?
sir, I'm not sure about that, sir.
It's Indian Cinematography Act. Okay. My question to you is, because you belong to this particular territory, is there an authority to screen a stage play? You know the distinction between a stage play and a movie?
Yes, sir.
Is there an authority to screen a stage play?
Sir,
Screen means as in to censor. To censor a stage play, I mean to say.
sir, as far as I know, I think there is no such authority to screen the stage play. But I think the decision was taken considering the interests of certain communities, that sentiments of certain communities are hurt, because of which.
So you followed the.
I know the basic idea,
Okay.
sir.
So you are right.
Yes, sir.
What amendment has been brought in to the SC/ST Prevention of Atrocities Act? Subsequently, there was a lot of hue and cry on the streets, and subsequent to that, the Supreme Court has pronounced a judgment. Subsequent to that, there was a hue and cry, and subsequent to that, the Parliament has made an amendment to the SC/ST Prevention of Atrocities Act.
Yes, sir.
What was the amendment precisely?
Sir, basically the SC/ST Amendment Act talks about it talks about if there is certain discrimination against certain communities, then that is a non-bailable offence, and there is no provision for anticipatory bail as well. And
No, I am not asking you about the provisions of the Act.
Yes, sir.
We are going into the provisions of the Act. My question precisely to you is, there was an amendment subsequent to the decision of the Honorable Supreme Court. There was an amendment enacted by the Parliament.
Yes, sir.
What was that amendment, the spirit of that amendment and the letter of it?
Sir, it basically tried to revive the original act. Supreme Court said that a preliminary inquiry has to be conducted before filing a case, and also the appointing authority has to give the permission to file a case under SC/ST Atrocity Act. So subsequent to that, there was a hue and cry about this, and therefore Parliament revived the original position, and it almost brought back the same act.
Is arrest in SC/ST atrocities, prevention of atrocities case is mandatory?
Sir,
Is arrest. Let us assume an FIR has been lodged against an individual by invoking a provision of SC/ST Atrocities Act. Is the arrest mandatory? If not, why? If yes, why?
Sir, it is a non-bailable offence. I think, sir, under the Act, if the arrest is mandatory or not, I am not sure about it. But in my opinion, I think a certain inquiry has to be done, because there are also cases that different, misplaced allegations were also being levelled against certain communities. So I think a certain amount of inquiry has to be done before filing the case.
You have referred to a term called non-bailable at least 3 times in our discussion. What do you understand by the term non-bailable offence? So bail cannot be granted in such offences, or bail can be granted only upon hearing both the sides. What do you understand by the term non-bailable? Because you yourself has cited that particular term. What do you understand by the term? What do you mean by non-bailable?
So I think a bail cannot be granted on the face of it, like initially, but after I think hearing the both the parties, I think after hearing the case by the court, I think.
Who is the investigating officer in SCST atrocity, prevention of atrocities cases? Who is the investigating officer? Which rank officer is designated as an investigating officer in such cases?
Sir, I'm not sure. I think sub-inspector.
Anyhow, so what is the genesis of the concept of secularism in the Indian Constitution? What is the source? What is the genesis?
In the Indian Constitution. Sir, I think. Sorry, sir, I'm not sure.
Okay. Who said, "I think, therefore I exist"?
I think, therefore I exist. Sir, Descartes proposed this.
Do you agree with that?
Sir, he majorly talks about rationalism, so I think that is appropriate. Sir.
So, a person who stops thinking, for example, a brain dead person does not exist?
Sir, he exists, but I think, sir, Descartes is talking about if a person who is rational and who is thinking is living, is considered as living. In that context, he is talking about the importance of reason. He is trying to highlight the importance of reason rather than just talking about the living aspect of it, just the life of it. Rather than that, he is talking about the importance of reason in the life.
What was the age of reason in the European Renaissance? Why is it called the age of reason?
Sir, I think it was during the 16th to 18th centuries. 18th century time period was called Age of Reason because there were certain intellectual currents and there were certain developments that took place in terms of architecture, geography, and shipping, the exploration of sea routes, and because of these things, I think that period was known as Age of Reason, sir. And there were certain philosophers who came up during that time, like Immanuel Kant, several other philosophers, because of which that was called the Age of Reason.
What was the influence of Friedrich Nietzsche on Hitler?
Sir, I just know that Nietzsche's thought was a major influence on the Hitler's philosophy, but I'm not sure about.
In what sense? I mean, there is one particular very popular concept of Friedrich Nietzsche which has influenced.
Sir, Nietzsche, I think, is a nihilist philosopher. He talks about, sir, I'm not able to recall the term right.
The concept of Übermensch?
Superman.
Übermensch.
Yes, sir.
So, a man who is beyond the human capability, the ideal man that one should aspire to become. That's perhaps one of the reasons which inspired Nazism.
Okay, sir.
Who, according to you, which school of philosophy, Indian school of philosophy, was closest to the modern liberal school of thought? There were several schools of philosophy, Indian philosophy, the ancient Indian philosophy.
Yes, sir.
Which was closest to the liberalism that you see today? The left liberalism, if I can call that.
So, the left liberalism.
Yes.
Sir, liberalism as such, I think, in my opinion, it is Charvaka's school of thought. Because Charvakas talk about this life, and they talk about the importance of human lives and the importance to pursue the pleasure that we attain in this life. So liberals also talk about the need to ensure that we have more rights and less restrictions in order to pursue our goals. So I think in that sense, Charvakas are a bit close to the liberal philosophy.
Don't you think it has left to global warming?
Sorry, sir.
Liberalism has left to global warming, don't you think?
Yes, sir.
In what sense?
Sir, for example, Friedman talks about the importance of competitive capitalism, and he talks about how capitalism has to exist in the society and state has to take up only those activities which cannot be dealt by the market. So if we give such a free pass to the competitive capitalism, the kind of coal-based power plants that we have right now, the kind of profits that are being pursued, they may cost a lot in terms of environment, I guess. So
Yeah. So, Mr. Aravind,
yes, sir.
so what do you mean by blue flag certification that is in news recent times? And is there any place from your Vizag in relation to this topic? Blue flag certification.
Yes, sir. Sir, blue flag certification deals with ensuring sustainable beach infrastructure with facilities like drinking water, toilet facilities, and also to ensure sustainable management of the beach environment without pollution and all. Sir, I am not sure whether about the place in my state, which place has acquired this blue flag certificate.
Yes, fine. So, what is the philosophy of Ramanujacharya recently that is in news with the Statue of Equality? And can you please mention some of the philosophies in Indian history?
Indian history.
In Indian history, some philosophers are there with Dvaita, Advaita.
Yes, sir.
So, which philosophy is dealt with Ramanujacharya?
Sir, do you want me to?
Yeah, please explain in some terms.
Sir, Advaita. If we start with Advaita, sir, Advaita talks about the ultimate reality is the Brahman,
Yes.
and there is no difference between the individual and the Brahman. And whatever we see in the world, it is just a creation of Maya, and a realization that individual is nothing but Brahman itself is the ultimate goal of this Advaita school of philosophy. Sir, in when coming to Visishta Advaita, which was propounded by Madhavacharya. So Visishta Advaita talks about reality is one, but it is qualified. Qualified by God, self and matter. So this is the basic difference between Advaita and Visishta Advaita. And when we talk about Dvaita philosophy, so Dvaita talks about reality is one, but individual is not equal to reality. They both are different. Though individual depends upon the God or the reality for its existence, but they are different from each other. So dualism, it talks about dualism basically, the Vaitavada talks about. So these are the basic distinctions between these three philosophies.
So, what is the present controversy about the Criminal Procedure Amendment Bill 2022?
So criminal procedure amendment bill. So a recent amendment was brought out, sir, which talks about the collection of physical as well as biological details of the prisoners in the cell. And previously we used to collect only fingerprints and footprints and a limited set of information from limited set of criminals as well. But now government has brought in a law which talks about collecting the signature, the biological samples, and it also talks about thumb impressions and other detailed information of the convicts.
With your background in philosophy, don't you think that it is an infringement on privacy? A serious infringement on privacy at that?
Sir, yes, I think it impacts both the right to privacy and also Article 20 Clause 3, which talks about right against self-incrimination. So it is a violation of these two rights. But I think in the interest of maintaining the database of culprits for 75 years, which government is talking about, I think government has to balance both these things. And sir, I think to resolve this conflict, I think the Sri Krishna, the data protection bill that government is now pondering upon has to be brought in, sir, in the first place, so that these information that government is trying to collect, public will have a perception that this data is taken care of. So I think then to an extent this conflict will be resolved, I guess, sir.
No, collection of samples is confined only to the convicts, or it is also extended to the accused and also those who are held in preventive detention custody?
Sir, as far as I know, it applies for preventive detention cases as well. Collection of biological samples, sir.
Samples and as well as the other biometrics that you have referred to.
Yes, sir.
It is confined to only the convicts, but it is also extended to the accused and also those who are held in preventive detention custody.
Sir, as far as I know, it applies to preventive detention.
Preventive detention, punitive detention, you know the distinction, right?
Yes, sir.
So, will you accept extending it to the preventive detention custody, that those who are held in preventive detention custody, detainees also?
Sir,
What is your take on it?
Sir, I think this is a bit overboard, I would say, sir, because preventive detention, this would lead to the curb of genuine dissent in the country as well, because if certain groups are protesting against certain decisions taken by government, I think they can also be arrested, or they can also be harassed in cases by collecting these samples, and they can also be misused sometimes by so I think this is a bit.
Aravind,
Yes, sir.
you're a BTech student, right? Basically, biotechnology student,
Yes, sir.
and got into philosophy now.
Yes, sir.
How is it related? How do you relate them? Or how did you get this interest in philosophy?
Yes, sir. Sir, first of all, biotechnology was not there in the optional subject list, sir. And also, even if it was there, I was not very much interested in biotechnology. So back then, it was a decision to pursue biotechnology because it was from an NIT college. So I got that opportunity to study in NIT. And sir, coming to philosophy, I think, sir, I thought philosophy, I started reading it and I felt it would help me in civil services and as well as in day-to-day lives as well. So certain concepts of philosophy attracted me. So I thought I'll go for it.
Tell me the salient features of Jiddu Krishnamurthy's philosophy. You know Jiddu Krishnamurthy, right?
Yes, sir. Sir, I'm not able to recall, but I've read The Freedom from the Unknown of Jiddu Krishnamurthy's philosophy. Sir,
Did you read any of the readings, any of the books of Sarvepalli Radhakrishnan?
no, sir. No, sir.
And tell me sustainability goals of the United Nations. Can you describe them?
Sorry, sir.
Sustainability goals of the United Nations.
Yes, sir. Sir, Sustainable Development Goal, 5th Sustainable Development Goal talks about the gender equality. Sir, and first few goals talk about the need to end poverty, hunger, and sir, Sustainable Development Goal 14 talks about life under water, the need to preserve and protect life under water. Sir, these are few that I can recall, but rest I can't recall.
Okay. How do you justify reservation for you? Your father happened to be a very senior government officer
Yes, sir.
with the BPT.
Yes, sir.
So, do you think that you should take the benefit of the reservation? If so, why?
Sir, I think I am eligible and I have to take the reservation, because the reservation, when it was initially conceived, it was not on the basis of economic mobility that we have. And sir, I agree that certain advantages there for people like me who are coming from a relatively privileged backgrounds. But I think there is certain sense of discrimination that exists even after you achieve economic mobility as well. For example, in urban areas, if you talk about urban areas, sir, there is residential segregation in urban areas as well. Especially in my place, they still live towards the other end of the area. And also, sir, certain communities are not given houses on rent in urban areas as well. So, and also we have discrimination in promotions as well, sir. That is the reason Supreme Court also gave the right to grant to give promotions in Nagaraju's case as well. So I think it is not. I agree that economic mobility provides a better edge to compete with the rest of the society, sir. But to resolve this conflict, I feel the quota that we have for a particular community, we have to divide this quota into 2 equal halves, and we have to ensure that the deprived and the genuinely poor communities within a community, they have to be given the access to 1/2 of the quota, and the other half has to be the general quota. Otherwise, I think if bringing in a creamy layer concept would exclude a complete category of people from accessing the reservation benefits.
So, you are from Visakhapatnam, right? And can you name some important Buddhist sites in and around Visakhapatnam?
Yes, sir. Sir, there was one in Anakapalli. I'm not able to recall the name, sir.
Do you know Totlakonda?
Totlakonda, yes, sir.
Okay. Can you give significance of Bhimili? What do you actually know about Bhimili?
Sorry, sir. I'm not.
Okay. So, you know about Sevalal?
Yes, sir.
Can you give his philosophical background of Sevalal?
So Sevalal is was considered a saint, especially for my community, which I come from. But his major contribution, I'm not aware of, sir.
Do you know that he is from your state?
I think he's from Telangana.
Are you sure?
No, sir, I'm not sure.
So you are making about subcategories within reservations, right? Do you know Justice Rohini Committee?
Yes, sir.
Okay, what is actually, why they appointed, why Government of India appointed Justice Rohini Committee?
So Government of India appointed Justice Rohini Committee in 2017 to pursue the idea of subcategorizing the OBC community. And Justice Rohini Committee also came out with a report in the subsequent year, and it said out of 3,500 subcastes that we have under the OBC community, only 500 subcastes are cornering the benefits, 90% of the benefits of the OBC community. So this was the major report that committee gave.
Is the report submitted?
Sir, I think the committee's tenure is being extended every year. The current status of it, I am not aware of.
So do you want the concept of creamy layer within the SC and ST categories?
Sir, personally, I don't want it.
But you proposed two categories, right?
Yes, sir.
One category is for first generation kids or first generation students, and second category is for students or aspirants from the well established, like second generation or third generation.
Yes, sir.
So do you want a concept of creamy layer that can be implemented for dividing these two categories?
Sir, I personally feel that concept does not come under creamy layer, because creamy layer, it excludes a certain section from the reservation benefits. But I am talking about the division of on the income basis. We can divide certain communities within a quota, and we can ensure that the deprived in those communities have access to the exclusive access to certain percentage of reservation. For example, we have 7.5 reservation, percent reservation. So we can divide it into 3%, 3% or 3.5, 3.5, and we can ensure the genuine, the Adivasis that we have, who are much more backward, they have access to 3.5 reservation, and the rest of the community has access to the other 3.5 reservation.
You did your master's BTech from Motilal Nehru National Institute of Technology, right? Allahabad. So can you mention other 2-3 institutions from Allahabad? Educational institutions.
Allahabad University is one.
Okay. Did you visit Allahabad University any time in your 4 years of your graduation?
So I have been to nearby places, but not Allahabad University.
Okay. Did you ever heard about the Csb Ias Institute of Social Sciences?
Sir, I have heard about it, but I don't know much about it.
Okay. Do you know about Csb Ias?
No, sir.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Aravind,
Sir.
your grooming is very good. Your confidence is good. The way you entered in, I don't see, there is nothing negative as such in your whole personality. Okay. So based on your personality, based on the way that which you are presenting yourself, you are like, I'm pretty sure that the interview board will find you eligible to get into the civil services. But there are a couple of things. You have good conceptual clarity, good confidence and all. Konni sarlu you're keeping your head like this.
Yes.
So that's as if, evaluatory type lo undannamata. Like you are evaluating somebody. This is just we do when we are evaluating somebody. That can be avoided. Okay.
Sure.
And like if you are guessing something, as far as I know and cheppedan kante, you can actually tell the member that, sir, I'm not exactly aware, if I can take a guess.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Okay.
I mean, if you're somewhat confident, let's say you have 80% confidence that what you're saying is right, then you can go ahead and say it. Okay. Otherwise, if you're not so confident about it, better to ask the person who has asked that question, sir, can I take a guess? I'm not very sure about it. Can I take a guess? Okay.
Sure, sir.
So, and there could be, given the background that we have, there could be definitely questions which are asked on the background. You need not personalize it.
Okay.
Okay, you need not become, when the question of reservations was asked, it's something which is given by the constitution.
Yes.
It's a right for certain communities, but when a question is asked, when it is asked even at a personal level also, you need not personalize it so much.
Okay.
Because when you personalize it, you tend to become defensive.
Yes, sir.
Okay, if you are saying that, I need to defend my stand, then your response becomes different. When you are, as an administrator, see yourself as an administrator. As an administrator, you are to maintain a neutral stance, even when it comes to issues which are related to your community or your region, your religion, your caste, whatever. Okay, that is my advice.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Positives have been told by the chairman. So the first thing is, I've asked you some questions with regard to the most important legislation which governs the rights of SCs and STs, specifically those who are deprived, those who are targeted. So that particular legislation, you are expected to know each provision of that legislation because that is intended for a specific community. So in order to protect or safeguard the interests of a particular community, that particular legislation has been enacted by the parliament. So that special statute, you are expected to know each provision of the special statute.
Yes, sir.
Because you are going to an interview, so you are expected to know. And also the recent developments with regard to that particular statute, you are expected to know. This is the most important thing.
I'll read about it.
Yeah, you are expected to know that. So, when Supreme Court or the Parliament enacts in and also I have asked you this question, the arrest is mandatory. There are judgments of the high courts, jurisdictional high courts, and as well as of that of the Supreme Court, which says, and also the amendment made to the Act also says, after preliminary inquiry into the matter, if any, the investigating officer, if he finds. So, and also there are a slew of articles written in the Hindu and as well as in the Indian Express, which says the investigating officer is of the rank of Assistant Commissioner of Police in a commissionerate and a District Superintendent of Police in a district. So, you are expected to know this. These are fundamentals of this, but which can which you are expected to know.
That is, some nitty-gritties can be missed because you are basically reading even laws. Also, you are getting to know through the articles in the Hindu.
Yes.
You are not going to the bare act and you are not reading it up. As far as your background and your this thing is concerned, you're maybe not expected to know who is the investigating officer or anything, but certainly the provisions, what are the provisions and what are the
recent amendments to it.
Yeah, certainly, definitely, that is expected of you.
Yes, sir. I'll read it.
Yeah, keep reading. That's
Yes,
all. Otherwise,
Good. Otherwise,
yeah.
certainly.
Your confidence levels are really good. Please keep it up. And first question I asked you is blue flag certification.
Yes, sir.
So the beach from your place is Rishikonda beach
Reshikonda.
because it is
Thank you.
internationally recognized.
Okay, sir.
So please give importance to your native place and near and locations, whatever it may be in use. Please familiar with that
Yes, sir.
and accept that everything is
Sir,
good.
thank you, sir.
Arvind,
Sir.
really appreciate your confidence level.
Yes, sir.
But just do some basic work about your locality. You are from
Yes.
Visakhapatnam. If you don't know about Bhimili, at least you can say about Bhimili beach, right? So yeah, you would have said some basic research. If someone from Andhra Pradesh or if he is from Visakhapatnam. So
I could have said that, sir, but I think it was not a big point.
yeah, you would have said.
Yes, sir.
So some basic maybe work on your locality.
Okay, sir.
So that.
So factually, koncham you need to brush up certain things, current affairs and knowing the laws and all that. Because it's specific. We are specifically, you can expect questions from that, the locality. And otherwise, overall, be it your body language, be it your confidence, be it clarity, conceptual clarity and everything, I don't think you will face any problem in the interview.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.